This is MDG Podcast number 4. We're here with Ericka Guitron. Thank you for coming and hanging out with us.
Yeah, Ericka.
Thank you for having me.
I gotta say, I called you and I texted you probably 4.5 months ago, and I never got a response.
She got a new number.
Oh, so you're gonna call me out like that?
Yeah, we're just gonna start out.
That's how we're gonna start
That's how
it.
we gonna do
For
you.
sure.
So we're starting a new thing on this podcast where we, to get everyone comfortable, we like to ask them some super light questions to get to know them a little bit better. So
Now, mind you, Ericka, I have not seen these questions, so prepare yourself.
So
They're all coming from Kyle.
Are you familiar with the Baltimore Bridge accident?
I've heard of it. Yeah.
Big shipping truck ran into the bridge, collapsed the whole thing.
Yeah.
Would you say that's a random crash or a cyber attack?
Cyber attack.
Okay. Why do you think the insurance companies and governments are so willing to pay out without an investigation?
Corruption.
Why do you think that they...
Corruption.
Why do you think this is serious, guys?
I'm sorry. All right.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Wait, I'm sorry. I had no idea. This is what the interview was going to be. In my head, I was like, what did I do?
What did I sign up for?
I actually have 4 more that we're going like way deep, but I'm not going to extend this.
How long would you have went with that?
Well,
because I was answering.
You're doing really good. You're doing really good.
I had corruption.
I had one about actually one that was really interesting. Kind of has to do with art, so it's kind of more on topic. But have you seen the unveiling of the King Charles III portrait?
No.
Oh my god! It's like literally like. Is there any? Hey Jeff, is there a way that we can pull up a portrait of something on this TV or no? Okay, maybe we can just pull it up a little bit. Basically, they did this unveiling of King Charles, right? He just was coronated as the King of England, and this is what it was.
Oh. Why is it like
he's in hell?
blood?
Yeah, blood.
Like, did someone die on this piece?
It's the creepiest thing I've ever seen in my
Somebody
life.
died on this piece?
So as an artist, how would you interpret that as an artist?
It's giving death in a, in an inspiring way.
Yeah.
But
Joe, you
also
seen it?
creepy.
No, I haven't seen it.
Take a look at this, Joe.
Yeah. Death.
Death. It's giving death.
There's a bunch of hidden faces too, and when you combine the photos and you put 2 of them, you mirror them, it creates the goat in the middle.
Wait, let me see this. What?
And the reason I'm bringing this up, we were talking about this actually after our podcast with our last guest, and we were talking about, we see a transition of a lot of newer artists when they're coming up. We see like a serious transition to, especially nowadays, like this really dark aesthetic, almost like underworld aesthetic. Do you have any thoughts on what's going on in the music industry?
Oh, I mean, I do.
Yeah.
I do think it's satanic.
Yeah.
I do think there's a lot of dark stuff going on, and it's starting to come out like on a larger scale than we've ever seen. And what's funny is for the longest time, like, I wanted a Grammy. Like, that was the thing that I wanted. It was on my vision board, and I just thought it was the highest honor. And I would watch the Grammys as a little girl and be like, oh my gosh, one day, that'll be me one day.
Yeah.
And I mean, if I were to ever get a Grammy, I wouldn't say I'm going to like reject it or anything, but I don't feel the same way about it anymore, because I feel like it's not real. And it's like, I think it's fixed, and there's a lot of darkness going on, and just as a whole, the whole music industry feels just really dark, and I don't sit well with it.
Do you feel like you have to pay a price for the Grammy? Like
I do. I feel like it's almost like, instead of, best artist of the year, they should say like,
this is what this guy did.
Most
to get the Grammy.
Yeah. Put out the most for the, or
Uh-huh.
No.
It's true.
Like,
Yeah, I think about that because we're all musicians, and it's something that I've really noticed. Like, everything in art, in good art, that there is symbology in everything, right?
Yeah.
And even when it comes down to the hertz of the music, you've got 144, and then supposedly, I don't remember the exact date, but it was switched. They made a specific switch, and I don't know why, but they made it from 132 to 144. Is just 144 cents, right?
Right.
And so they were saying, this is, we're kind of going down conspiracy land, but they were saying that the 140,
My favorite.
yeah, that 144 hertz was creates more of a hypnotic experience for the listener. And when
Wasn't this scientific though? Wasn't it kind of?
I think it has
science?
to. I think music is.
I think it's all revolves around somewhat of science. I mean, like you think about chord progressions.
Mhm.
Like if you play a certain chord progression, it's going to have you lean a particular way. Like there's certain chord progressions for like R&B, you know, vibey music, and then there's certain chord progressions for darker,
right?
Like, you know, just
and
like
you feel it.
Yeah, you feel it.
And everything is frequency.
100%.
You know, and same with music and sound, and I think certain frequencies are manipulated even in songs, like they're intentional about it.
Yeah,
I feel like
yeah.
there's some songs that I feel are tuned into a darker, lower frequency that kind of puts the masses into a lower vibration, and there's some songs that are at a higher frequency that you feel lifted up. You know?
Yeah. In your creative process, do you have any struggle? Like, what would you say you struggle with the most? Like, or is there any like would it be things like phrasing? Would it be like
what do I struggle with the most when I create music?
Yeah, when you create, because you write your own. You write.
Yeah, there's like a lot. There's like levels writing,
lyrics,
production,
like chords, production. Yeah. Oh, I see. For me is the vocals. Tracking the vocals.
Okay.
Really?
I'm such a perfectionist that like I'm really hard on myself, and yeah, that's always been the longest process. I can write a song and then it can sit for way longer than it needs to, simply because I don't feel the vocals are just right.
Yeah. Is it the arrangement of the vocals?
No, like recording the vocals and feeling like this is the take, like this has the energy and the performance, and I feel good about my vocal.
Yeah.
I think that's I could see that.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm the same way with tracking drums.
Mm-hmm.
You're a perfectionist.
Yeah, it's there's, like I said, there's like levels to that, because it's, you know, sometimes it could be, oh, I didn't play like the licks that I wanted to play in this particular phrase, or it could be, I don't like the way my snare sounded, or it could be, I didn't set up that section the way I wanted to set up the section, right? Or it could just be, it doesn't feel good.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
and then the engineer or everyone else are like,
oh, it sounds great.
Are you crazy? Like, I don't hear what you're hearing, but it's like, I'm sorry, but I don't know.
You can feel it. Like you can just, it's almost like you feel it. Like when you listen back to it, you can almost like feel it like right here. I don't know what it is, but it's,
I feel it in my body.
Yeah. Like, it's just like, this whole thing.
For sure.
The only thing that keeps me cool is, I think Quincy Jones said it's in the first take. Like the juice is in the first take.
I think there's truth to that.
And ever since I heard that, anytime I track now, I literally trust that whatever I'm going to do, it's in the first take.
There's truth to that. There's been many times where I did the first take and everyone was like, man, this is killer. And I'm like, yeah, that's cool. Let me try it again.
Let's do like 7 more takes.
Exactly. So 52 more takes later, I'm like, you know, let's stick with that first one, though.
Yeah.
So I think that's true.
Have you ever had I had a dream probably about a month ago that I was listening to a completely original song, and I was so mad at myself. I could not remember the song, and I was like, have you ever?
I have those.
It's like all the time. All the time.
I wake up singing the melody.
Yeah.
How can we tap into that?
I don't know.
I always forget it. I mean, I was like, this song is amazing. I'm like, wait a second. Like, it's just.
It's like you're trying to fight to wake up because you want to remember what you were singing. Yeah.
Yeah. I've written just bops, like straight up, like anthems. Like, oh my God, chords. I remember the chords and the lyrics and everything.
So you retain that information?
I've dreamt every single night of my entire life. And I remember all of them.
Have you ever had a lucid dream?
Pause.
Okay. What?
This dude had.
Let me build to it.
I'm just saying, all last week he was all about that. So
he thought I was nuts. He called me and talked about 2 hours about a yacht he's thinking about buying.
Hey, I'm just saying, bro.
I'm like, Joe, let's try to sell some hats first, and then
let's work our way up.
But okay, so let's get this out of the way. Have either one of you had a lucid dream? Okay, yes, Joe.
No, I don't think so.
Okay,
I don't think so.
Describe your lucid dream to me. What was your experience with your lucid dream?
I've had many. I mean, I can't even just off the top of my head think of one, but I don't know what it is like for you or anyone else, but for me, I've just become aware that I'm dreaming and I'm conscious of it, and I can kind of control like what I want to do. And sometimes I'll practice.
Yeah.
And sometimes I'll like I've brought in my crush in my dream, and
everyone does that. It's okay, just admit it. Everyone brings in your crush in your dream.
And then we have wet dreams.
Yeah.
And that's how wet dreams happen.
Yeah. Exactly.
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
Oh my gosh.
I'm sorry.
Listen, you talk about lucid dreams, everyone's banging their person in their head, okay? That's what happens in
Kyle is walking into other people's houses.
No, wait, okay.
I'm thinking of SpongeBob, that one episode where he goes into the
Okay, so this is why I'm asking this. So I swear that I astral traveled the other night.
Astral
projected. I called Joe. I was like, Joe, do you know about astral projection? He goes, what was that? And I said,
what was that?
Just like that?
I went on a tangent, but so this is the experience when, before you leave the body, you have your physical body and you have your conscious body. You have your energy body, right?
That's crazy.
I'm laying down, and you always experience the same thing. You experience this, like almost like you said, like a frequency. Like it's like you're aware of your body's frequency. It feels like a buzzing, almost like your foot's asleep and starts to come back. And it's like those needles. So I'm laying in the bed, and I'm like, oh man, I'm on that in between state of like dream and awake. And so I'm like, I was like years ago, I was like really into astral traveling, the idea of it.
Like you just did it on the reg, or?
Well, I would try to do it, and then I went down these rabbit holes of they have entire CIA operations like Sunstreak operation, but that was revolving around remote viewing, and they had really crazy. They dumped millions and millions of dollars into this research during the Soviet era. They wanted to spy on like the current day, Russians, whatever. So, I had this experience, and I pop out, and I'm out of my body. I'm in my apartment. I know that I'm in my astral form, and I'm floating around, and I'm like, oh, this is insane. And so the first thing I do is like, oh, I'm going to test this out. I went into my neighbor's apartment. I just like floated through the walls, and I was just like floating up. I was like looking at them sleeping, and I was like, oh, this is super weird. So I shot like way up into the atmosphere, and the further away that I got from my body, it's like the Wi-Fi connection was going out. And so it was like got darker, and it just faded like back.
Oh my god!
So I wanted to know,
that's wild.
Have you ever?
I've never done that, but I've heard of it. I tried once.
Yeah.
I tried a few times. One was in my bed. I tried to follow the steps, follow the, the manual, and I was like, all right, breathe, and it just didn't happen. But I did it a little bit, I think, in a float tank.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's right. You guys used to do the float tank.
Yeah. So I went into this float tank, and you know what that is?
Oh yeah, like a sensory deprivation.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You're actually floating in salt water.
In water.
Yeah.
Okay. In the dark, right?
In the pure dark.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just like it's just all.
He tried to get me to do it. Not for me.
You should try it.
You
bro.
did it?
No, I did not.
Oh, so
I
how
did
do you
not.
know it's not for you?
I'm good. If I'm not mistaken, one of our other friends did it, and he ran out.
Really? Why?
Like, yeah, I don't know. He was like, I'm good.
Okay. Well, I can understand it. It is scary.
You know what might help you do if you're still into? You could listen to binaural beats. Binaural.
Yeah.
One frequency, another frequency in the air creates that warbling effect.
Yeah.
That'll help.
Ooh, I think I might try it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like I floated up a little bit, and then I just went back down.
Sometimes people will experience an intense ringing. Like a ringing that is almost unbearable.
Yeah.
So if you ever get to that point, you feel like a buzzing or a ringing, you know you're on the right track.
Close.
Yeah. I'm going to create an astral army.
Okay.
I'm going to be up there floating around. Yeah.
Kyle, if you float to my house while I'm asleep, I'm shooting you.
Can people see you?
They did this crazy experiment.
The military CIA thing, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Back, like I was talking about the CIA, I think there were multiple projects. The one that's coming to the top of my head is the one I told you called Sunstreak.
Mm-hmm.
And they were discussing how to activate this because they were very interested in using this for spying. Mm-hmm. And they would have bless you, they would have, how do they do it? They would have a target card, and one person, they would, the subject who was going to be remote viewing would have no idea what the card was, and neither would the person that was traveling with it. And they would say that they would go up to 30 miles away, and they would have these cards of pictures, and then they would have the people would attempt to do this, right? And they would get it kind of accurate. Like they would draw out plans. Like there would be like a picture of like a field, like a farmhouse, and they would draw like the field and like the house. Or maybe they get like the pool in the wrong spot, but they got really close.
Enough to know that they were there.
So can you like sue someone for like trespassing?
Like a Fourth Amendment violation?
Yeah.
That would be, that would be really crazy.
Yeah, it's like you're on that property.
I like to believe that we have a bunch of hidden powers we don't even know about.
I believe we do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But there was they supposedly now they're doing stuff with, do you know what DMT, like dimethyltryptamine, is?
I've heard of it.
Like you talk,
I've never done it.
Neither have I. But it's
don't you like see God pretty much?
Yeah, like you
straight to...
you
go straight to the source.
Yeah,
straight to the source.
Jeff knows about it.
Oh wow, can confirm.
Everyone always talks about these things called machine elves, or
I've heard of that.
Like the little elves that you meet. They're like jokesters, I guess. But
I've heard there's multiple kinds of elves, like little actual like elves, like that you are in the fairy
Christmas
tales,
elves?
like that. But then also I've heard there's like epic ass, just like crazy.
Oh yeah, it's
dimensional.
I've never
elves.
done it. I've been interested in it because it's a short experience. It's like what, Jeff? Like 10-minute experience? 30 minutes. Yeah, and DMT is found in everything. It's found in the grass outside. It's what your brain secretes when you dream. And so I've just like, I like this. I don't know, this connection to the divine, or is just always been so interesting to me. It's like
psychedelics,
and how much of that is a mental construct? How much of it, or are you actually, traveling through dimensions?
I think everything is consciousness.
Yeah.
No, not to get all like
no,
deep,
yeah,
but
yeah.
I don't. How do you know if this is all really here?
Are we in the simulation?
Or yeah.
Do you think we're in a simulation? Yeah.
Yeah.
Are we in a hologram? Like,
yeah, I mean, like honestly, it's all mind,
My mind just tends to just shut down when I try to think of infinity, and I think of like no beginning, no end. Just like it just blows my mind. It's just
we're not created to even have an idea of what that.
Yeah.
What are we created for?
What are we created for? To serve the Lord.
Oh. To serve the Lord.
To serve the Lord.
Do you believe in reincarnation?
I do.
Yeah,
my mom's gonna watch this. My dad's gonna watch this and be like,
I think like
shame on
you.
No, I think that's such an interesting concept. I think that like Joe and I talk about this all the time. The idea of Lucifer and God, right? So in the Bible it says that Lucifer was the brightest, most perfect angel, right?
Yeah.
That fell from grace. So we were always talking about if Lucifer could fall from grace, could there ever be a moment where he's reunited?
I've thought about this.
Like it's like, because if something can be in a certain status in one point, I guess time doesn't exist in the ether, but
yeah, I feel like Lucifer was created to create choice, like duality. You can't have love without choice.
Yeah, because then it's just slavery.
Slavery.
Yeah.
Love always is a choice. There's freedom in love, or else it's control and manipulation, which is witchcraft. So I feel like there's an element of, or that was placed to create love and experience love, and pretty much experience everything.
Yeah, it's like it just makes. What do you think, Joe?
I think Ericka kind of answered the question, because you said if Satan can fall from grace, can he be reinstated? Right? Is that what you said?
Yeah.
Well, she brought up a good point, saying that it's based on a choice, right?
Yeah.
So then didn't Satan choose to be where he is?
Yeah.
In this thought experiment that we're having, the idea of Lucifer would be required for you to even have, like, so you're saying to have the choice or to have to deal with temptation, to grow through the struggle and to lead a more perfect life as best as you can.
Yeah.
So like it's wondering, like, so it's all part of the puzzle piece to me. So like it's like,
well, yeah, it's like it goes back. It just confirms that we have a choice. Like, and I think that if you're using Lucifer as an example, it's an example of a magnified choice. Someone having a choice to say, "No, I'm cool. I'm going to do my own thing," and it played out.
yeah. So we went from wet dreams to
Lucifer.
God of Lucifer.
Lucifer. I mean, I started to read the book of Enoch a little bit, and I think there's a lot of validity to it. It's parallel, at least in the beginning part that I read, is parallel to Noah's time.
Yeah.
And like it talks about like the Nephilim, and apparently he had to wipe things. God had to wipe things out because of the Nephilim, and they were sleeping with the humans, and that's what created the Goliath.
Yeah, so like,
I heard about that.
The fallen angels, or the
fallen angels,
the Watchers. The Watchers were mating.
Isn't that how we got giants?
Yeah, and so they created the Nephilim, and the Nephilim became extremely perverse and were cannibalizing, and although they did,
apparently they were teaching witchcraft to the women.
Oh, interesting.
And that's why witches are known to be women, because they were mating with the women and they were giving all this knowledge, and that's where the occult started.
Why do you think that knowledge is always looked down upon? Like the idea of knowledge as being something that would be in the Garden of Eden. Why would that be a sin?
I think knowledge is power. If you know something, you become responsible. And
so maybe we're not mature enough to handle the level of knowledge that is.
What if we're misinterpreting knowledge? What if like knowledge is the meaning of knowledge? Like what if it was something like I don't know what it is. Like I'm just perplexed by this whole entire saga that I've been on for the past month. so we totally. This is a music podcast.
Wet dreams.
But we can change the subject. But I could honestly talk to you like for like hours about this. But so what do you have going on music wise? Are you working on any new albums? Who are you listening to? All the normal stuff.
Okay. I'm working on music. I put out a single called Lavender Clouds recently.
Cool.
Heard it.
What'd you think, Joe?
Pretty fire.
Hated it. No.
Hated it.
Hated it.
Heard it.
And I'm going to put out another record soon. And I'm kind of just doing singles. I'm independent, so I don't have like this big machine behind me. But just kind of pushing it for I push each song for a couple of months. And then
that's awesome.
What was the other question?
Oh, just who are you listening to right now?
Oh, Stevie Wonder.
Oh, you can never go wrong with Stevie.
No. I'm obsessed.
It's just so good.
He's my idol.
He's the best.
Yeah.
He's truly the best.
Is there anywhere you're playing? Like?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I have a Thursday residency at the Georgian Hotel in Santa Monica. And I'm there on Sundays as well doing solo stuff. And
I've been noticing you've been playing piano more.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, thank you.
Do you like that?
I do.
Okay.
And I never thought I would be doing this. It kind of just happened accidentally.
For sure.
Because of 2020.
Yeah.
I when we were playing Jerry's Grill and Danny Mills was playing keys, he's someone that I kind of have to attribute my keyboard playing to because he's the one that pushed me.
Yeah, he
pushed
her hard.
Yeah, real hard.
The second time we talked about Danny on the podcast.
Yeah. Oh,
really?
Danny.
Yeah.
Oh, Danny Mills.
Yeah.
Oh, good old Danny.
Good old Danny Mills.
yeah, he just was like, he basically just wanted to play bass.
Yeah.
And he was like, I don't want to play keys and left hand bass. Like,
Yeah, he put her in a difficult situation.
Yeah, and I sucked. Like, I sucked so bad. Joe, you could say it.
She was all right.
I sucked.
No.
She wasn't that bad.
Things that I've seen are pretty awesome.
No, this was like years ago.
So you really had to learn. Cool.
Yeah, so I also put out a few covers that kind of accidentally branded me with the keys. They went viral. But I really just learned chords, and it's not the same as being an actual musician. Like, you can fake it. I mean, it was me playing, but by no means did I consider myself a musician. But it went viral. People saw me and a keyboard, and they're like, oh, and they expected it of me. And I was like, oh, my gosh.
That's a good challenge,
Maybe
though.
I should learn it.
Yeah.
And then 2020 came. Everyone's jobs got canceled and all my gigs were canceled, and I met this booker who was only booking solo gigs and out in the OC area because LA was shut down, but OC was kind of semi-open.
LA lost its mind for a little bit.
Yeah. Team OC during that time. And he was like, he reached out to me and was like, hey, can you do solo gigs? I was like, yeah. But I was like, yeah, I can. I will, you know. And so I learned 3 sets of music and forced myself, because of desperation for money, I guess, to pay my bills. And I just kind of...
That's the best way to do it.
Yeah.
That's the best way to do it. Someone has to force you to do stuff sometimes, you know?
Yep.
Yeah.
It's the only way you get better.
My wife wanted...
Oh, yeah.
She had a special question.
Okay.
Any struggles with, like, you know, girl stuff, like, you know, like, you know.
I don't know.
You know. You know, like, any girl stuff?
Joe, you can't come in timid with a question like that.
I know.
Can we keep that, please?
We should have just had her call in. You know, like, girl stuff. Any girl stuff? Any challenges you?
Anything in specific?
You know, like weight. You know, like around weight. You
okay,
know,
women and
you know, like, because you're in an industry where imaging is very important.
Mm-hmm.
You're a singer. You know,
Christina was asking this, right? She's asking, have you, as a creative individual, it's always, you know, you're on camera. You have to be.
Yeah, you're always.
Have you ever had any body image insecurities? Maybe you could help someone else that is going through something like this. Maybe you could talk about.
Lord, that is so funny that you ask. I mean, can I answer both? Because they're kind of different. So regarding weight, I grew up with health issues. I had Graves' disease, and Graves' disease is an autoimmune disease that attacks your thyroid, and it made me really skinny. And I think you remember that time. I got real skinny. Like, I'm already thin, but I got like skeleton. Like, I was a walking skeleton. And I got really sick, and I just wanted to be thick.
She wanted to be
So we would go to Denny's like every other Friday, and she would just have like 17 pancakes.
So yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
I
watched her eat all of them.
Literally.
With fries and ketchup.
THICC.
I wanted to be thick. And
they're just gonna hear me in the mic going, nice.
Thick. Nice.
Oh yeah, sorry.
Okay, no, but on a serious note, like everyone has their ideas of beauty, right? There might be a woman that weighs more that wants to weigh less, or a woman that weighs less that wants to weigh more. And, you know, like, it's all about just not feeling comfortable and feeling beautiful. And I just felt like not comfortable being thin. I felt not pretty. I didn't feel like men liked it. They want the curves, and I also wasn't healthy. So I just started, first I had to get healthy. So I dealt with the disease, and I think you just have to be healthy, you know what I mean? And then after I got healthy, I just kind of accepted my body. I'm more of a thinner, slender type. And I know there's probably some women like, oh, boo-hoo, like, you know, but it's all about how you feel and how you see yourself. And The way I healed that was through affirmations. I did sleep affirmations.
Okay.
I would play the videos all throughout the night, and I had to rewire my brain because I learned that I was telling myself that I'm just ugly.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not pretty. I'm not enough. I just had horrible beliefs about myself.
For sure.
And I had to rewire it. And I actually also had eczema growing up, like really severe eczema, which is a skin disease. And I had it all over my body from like 4 years old to about junior year of high school. And after junior year, it kind of started to fade away a little bit more. And but like the psychological scars still remained. And it was on my body too. The scars of everything. But I had to heal it with my mind and my thoughts. And I learned that it was all intertwined. Like how I show up physically is a manifestation of a lot of the times of what's happening inside.
For sure. Yeah.
And I had to heal what was inside. And I also did, other stuff like change my diet and my lifestyle. And I usually gravitate to natural stuff now. I said no to Big Pharma. Yeah. Sorry, Big Pharma, not a fan.
Not a fan.
Did it my whole life, and it didn't work. But, yeah, did that kind of answer the question?
Yeah, it's perfect.
Yeah, definitely. I think you're right. I think that it's a first step is the mental part.
Mm-hmm.
It is.
It's funny because working out, it's actually simultaneous, because the moment you start working out, you start taking care of your body a little bit better. You start feeling better. You start getting more motivated.
Even your mindset with weight loss is connected. I've seen people work out every day at the gym, like hard, and they're eating right, and they're just not losing the weight. But I noticed they had this like belief that I can never lose weight. So, and they believed it, like,
yeah.
And no matter what they ate and how much they worked out, they just could not put off the weight because mentally they just had this belief.
And disconnect.
Subconsciously they're probably stressing over it, which is putting
that's putting stress on your body.
Yeah, it's all connected.
Whenever I've taken a break from the gym, I typically pretend that I weighed 480 pounds. Mm-hmm. And then I look at myself in the mirror. If maybe I'm not looking that great, I'm like, whoa, look how far I've come. And then I'm getting inspired to go to the gym.
I like that.
Look how far
I've
come. Works,
yeah. It's always worked for me. Well, I'm glad that Christina called in with that question.
Yeah, she hit me on the line. I was like, show girl, I got you. I mean, it's a great question because I think women, like you said, I'm sure girls or women see you and they're like, oh, she's got it all together. But they don't know.
If they only knew.
Yeah, it's like a lot of times people don't know what we individually deal with behind the scenes when, because Instagram's like, oh, you see this person this way, so you have it all made up in your mind what this person's life is like. But,
I came from... I was a troubled soul. I was severely insecure and self-conscious about my physical appearance and just my overall existence. Mm-hmm. Like I felt really self-conscious, and it was a battle for sure. And it took a lot to overcome that. And it doesn't matter how you look. Like if you don't feel good,
for sure.
If you don't have good thoughts about yourself, like it doesn't matter,
Yeah.
So, well, we are getting ready to kind of, wrap this episode up.
I mean, I was going to ask you some questions about fashion, like what are your inspirations on clothing, and how do you implement that into your artistry?
I like elegance, but edge.
Mm-hmm.
I like 90s fashion.
There you go. Yeah.
Yeah.
Me too.
I really resonate with it. It's very like down to earth and loose, but cool and stylish.
Do you know like Y2K, like Y2K style?
Mm-hmm.
Do you know this brand called Honey, HUNI, by Mona? Mm-hmm. It's my all-time favorite brand.
I'm still trying to get that bomber space jacket.
She's a genius. She's better than everyone else that I know about in the fact. She's just doing she's doing unique, cool stuff.
Hell yeah.
Mona, if you ever happen to see this podcast,
Mona, we love you.
Yeah, and send me a jacket, please. Thank you.
MDG though.
Oh, you heard of that brand?
Yeah, I heard it's like this like really dope brand.
I mean,
yeah, they cool. They do like these
Yeah,
luxury,
Podcast.
comfort.
Yeah, you know, we tried.
Yeah.
Period.
I think we're the only podcast that doesn't talk about our own brand every single time.
I think that's
The only-
cool, though.
Yeah, okay.
That's cool. You know, we're not arrogant. We're not.
Yeah, we're
all in
sponsored by
ourselves.
MDG. which
For
is
sure.
us.
Hey, so Ericka, real quick, did Diddy do it?
Did he or did he not?
Did he or did he not? Did Diddy do it?
He done did it.
He did it.
All right, everybody. Thank you for watching.
Did he do it?